Alrighty. Welcome to the PSBS, as the PlayStation Bull Session Podcast. I'm your host, Coach T, PSN Body Boys, and this week, our usual co-host, Andrew, is out this week. He's on vacation, so we got our little substitute guest host here. You want to introduce yourself?
Yes, sir. My name is Patrick. My PSN is Patron4000. That's Pattron 4000. How's it going, buddy?
Good. Going good. Glad for you to be here. You have somebody to come and get a new voice on the show for the week.
Man. I'm glad to be here. I'm a fan of the podcast. I've had to miss a few over the summer because I've been out of town, but it's cool to be here.
Yeah. Yeah, well, it's better. You're on the show now. You don't have to worry about catching up because you're on it.
Now I'm a celebrity.
Yeah. Because, well, no, YouTube just announced today that they were fixing their, 301 count thing or something.
All right.
So that might actually help us because we had, one or two episodes that were stuck at 301 views. So maybe that will help us. We'll see.
Now, you're going to go check, and they're just going to skyrocket out of here.
Yeah, I'm finally going to fix, and they'll be, at 100,000 views. I'll be like, okay. So, but we'll see. Hopefully that amounts to something. So, but anyway, that's YouTube news. What we go over here, obviously, is video game news, preferably PlayStation, but we try to cover what we can.
Hence the PSBS.
Yes, the PSBS, hence that. So, yeah. So this week, there's been a lot of news. There's not a lot of news going around. I kind of just want to cover a few things that I know our guest host here is kind of comfortable with. You can chime in and have a kind of opinion on. So we got a couple little things I want to go over. One thing that was just announced today, actually, a while ago, I thought was kind of something, is that this was not directly PlayStation, but it's Sony related and good enough. Sony said that they've delayed the Uncharted movie to June 30th, 2017.
I didn't even know they were coming out with a movie.
Yeah,
I'm really far behind.
Yeah, Sony Pictures has been really trying hard to make an Uncharted movie for the past year or two, and it's just kept falling through. Directors were signing on and then quitting. And I think their last director quit. I think it was Seth Gordon Green was supposed to direct it. I think that's his name, and he dropped out. I think just now. So now they have no director, no cast, because it was supposed to come out June 2016, but now the director quit and they have no progress made. They're like, no, we got to delay it 1 year. We're gonna keep trying.
That'd be awesome though, because that game in itself, it's like you're playing a movie. Yeah.
Uncharted lends itself very well to be a movie. So it just doesn't seem like it'd be that hard to pull off an Uncharted movie, but apparently it is.
It'd kind of be like our generation's Indiana Jones in a way, if you think about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're trying really hard to make it that. That's what they want to accomplish with the film. But like I said, I just don't know. I guess the directors they're getting aren't seeing eye to eye, and they're just not getting their stuff together. So I don't know. We'll see how that goes.
Yeah, we'll keep our fingers crossed.
Yeah, they could pull through and actually make a good Uncharted movie within the next 2 years.
Well, shoot, even if they just released all the in-game videos and then filled in some of the blanks, that'd be a good animated movie.
Oh yeah, they could just do that. Who did that? Oh, it was Final Fantasy did that. They took all their I think they did all their cinematics and made a movie.
Right.
Based off their cinematic engine or something like that. But yeah, they could totally do something like that because now they got the Uncharted collection coming out, so it's look, more Uncharted. Just take that, do that to a movie or something.
Although I would prefer live action, I think that'd be the way to go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like that World of Warcraft movie. I still don't get if that's a live action movie or not.
Yeah, I don't even know how I feel about that. The concept sounds cool in a way, but I don't know. I'll have to see it.
Yeah, well, the problem is, we're not getting a trailer to November, but, every description I hear about it makes it sound like it's a CG animated movie, kind of like Beowulf or something, but...
that's what I'm thinking.
That's what it sounds like every time they describe it, but yet, I don't know, it's weird that, this is a movie that's coming out, and, you can't even straight up tell us if it's animated or not.
Right. I mean, I don't know.
And the posters didn't help either, because an orc, an orc CG. So that's I can't tell if it's live action or not. And even when
they show us what a human is.
Yeah, what does a human look like in this movie? Is he live action? Is he CG? I don't know.
Oh man, I don't know. It's definitely one that a lot of people are gonna see, but that doesn't mean it's gonna be successful. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like I said, it's just so weird that they can't even kind of get the point across if it's live action or not. And they're like, no, it's like a blend of live action and CG. And I'm like, yeah, but do you mean like a blend like Star Wars, or do you mean a blend like Beowulf, where like even the people are CG?
If I had to guess, I'd say Beowulf.
Yeah, that's what it's sounding like, and I don't know if I want that, but we'll see.
I wasn't a fan of Beowulf, so I don't want that.
Yeah, I don't. So, I don't know. We'll see about that Warcraft movie and the Uncharted movie, however that turns out. But anyway, move on to some other stuff. But I did mention Star Wars, and speaking of Star Wars, a lot of Star Wars news this past week.
Yes.
Especially pertaining to Star Wars Battlefront. EA announced 2 new game modes for Star Wars Battlefront this past week. The first mode was announced earlier in the week, called Blast mode, and Blast mode sounds awesome. Basically what Blast mode is a 12-player 6 versus 6 team deathmatch mode, and what makes this really cool is that it takes place in like close quarter maps, so the maps are smaller and it's close quarter.
Oh, cool.
And the cool thing is there's no weapon loadouts. It's all weapon pickups. Like you run around the map, you find the gun, you pick it up, and then you start shooting. And so it's like everybody like looking for the weapons in the map.
Dude, that is going to be awesome.
Yes.
That's kind of like Halo.
Yeah, I know. It sounds...
the way they had some of theirs.
Yeah, it sounds so cool. Like it really sounds like an old school shooter. You know, something like GoldenEye or, like you said, like Halo. Like when you actually run around the map and try to find the best gun. Like, oh, the best gun's up here. You know, you go for it, try to grab it. So
dude,
yeah,
that's going to be one of those game modes that like you and your buddies will get together on a Friday night and just duke it out all night. Just like 6-on-6, grinding it out. That's why I kind of like. I'm excited for that. That's gonna be fun.
Yeah, it sounds a whole lot of fun. And like I said, I do like that it's going for kind of like the older shooter feel rather than like these new ones where it's like, you know, all about loadouts and unlocking weapons and this and that. Where this kind of puts everybody on an even playing field. Like, all right, you all have the same base weapon, and then now you just got to find the best one, like scattered the map or whatever.
Well, and like everyone who plays these shooters that are our age kind of grew up with like you said, GoldenEye and just kind of like those original things. So it's gonna be like a walk down memory lane. It'll be very reminiscent of old school shooters and old school gameplay in a way.
Yeah, so I think Blast is gonna be a big hit. You know, because it's Star Wars and it's old school shooting and you know like the mechanics, and it's like sounds really fun. So it sounds really great. And the other game mode was announced this morning is Rogue Squadron, which sounds pretty awesome too, because basically it's just a dogfight mode where it's just vehicle combat.
That's going to be real cool.
Yeah, so you can have teams of players. Like some people are going to have the X-Wings and some people are going to have the TIE Fighters.
That's kind of like, I don't know if you ever played, what was it, Battlefield 1942 for the PlayStation 3?
Yeah.
It was only downloadable, but they had a map on there called Coral Sea, and that was just all World War II dogfighting, and that was like one of my favorite gameplays to do.
Yeah,
so that's gonna be really good.
Yeah, well, I mean, Battlefield usually has a mode where it's just like a vehicle dogfights. I think Battlefield 4 did, but yeah, Battlefield 4 had one with the jets for dogfight mode. But I think it was like added in through like a free DLC patch or something. I don't think it was right away.
Yeah, that was the air superiority mode or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, but the Rogue Squadron sounds pretty cool, and I hope it's actually fun to play, because that was the problem with like Battlefield. Like they made the jets like really complicated to fly and control, to where like you had to be like a hardcore simulator fan to be like, yeah, I know how to do this, and like take down other people.
Well, that's one of the things that I'm looking forward to a lot, is because in the first Battlefield or the first Battlefront, you could take off in an aircraft and fly around the battle and then land and do whatever. But for some reason they got rid of that on the second one. The only time you could fly in a spacecraft was in actual space battles.
Yeah.
And so that was kind of a letdown whenever that happened. So I'm glad to see it's coming back. I don't know how exactly if it's gonna be the same kind of way, but it's going to be fun no matter what happens.
Yeah, they said there's still going to be modes where like in this mode it's just going to be combat, air combat the whole time, at least with the vehicles. But they said in the main game too, there'll still be vehicle to soldier combat. Like you can get in a ship and fly around over the battlefield.
Yeah.
Um,
But and I know for the Rogue Squadron trailer they had a glimpse of the Millennium Falcon and the Slave One. So I guess if you have, I don't know, enough kills or something, you can go into a sort of hero mode and fly as them. Or
yeah, that was confirmed with the announcement this morning that they'd be like hero ships you can fly. So like in addition to the TIE fighters and the X-wing fighters, you can play as the Millennium Falcon, or you can be the Slave One Boba Fett ship.
that's gonna be really
So
good.
yes, those are gonna be fun. That's in there. Extra flight and dog combat for Star Wars.
And those A-wings look awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Wait,
so do all
wings.
the other ships, but I mean, the A-wings especially were cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 'cause that's the thing with Battlefield. Like when it first got announced, people were kind of hating on it. Now people are kind of warming up to it. Now they're kind of seeing what it is. Because I know they announced a lot of stuff that kind of like put people off right away. Like they like straight up said there's no space battles, there's no single player mode. And that put a lot of people off. But now I think that's what I said before. And I think on a previous episode I said that I think that was them just trying to get that stuff out of the way, like just trying to get out of the way so they're not like dodging the question later on.
It's like ripping off a Band-Aid, just getting it over with.
Yeah, basically like, hey, we don't have space combat, hey, we're not going to have a single player mode, but here's what we do have. And now they're announcing all this new stuff, like we're going to have, the squadron mode, we're going to have blast mode, we're going to have these single player co-op missions that are not a full campaign, but it's just something to do offline. So it's just slowly kind of rebuilding after just getting that stuff out of the way. And I think people are really kind of warming up to Star Wars Battlefront.
And, I mean, there was only really a handful of things I was expecting from a new one. And one of them was being the whole fact that you could fly between a ground battle and a space battle.
Yeah.
Like, I always thought that concept would have been awesome. But I guess that's just, like, a really complex thing to do. And when you're going to do that, that's a huge magnitude. That's two different battles going on. So...
yeah, I don't know what happened with that, because there was a Star Wars Battlefront 3 in development at one point from Pandemic Studios, and that leaked footage came out, and they showed that, like, yeah, you can get a spaceship on land, fly up in space, do a space battle, come back down on land. And that was running on a PS3, and
oh man, that would have been so good.
And they're doing all that, and then this new one came out, and it was just kind of like, well, we don't have that. And I'm like, why? And they're just like, I don't know, just save it for a sequel, maybe we'll expand in a sequel or something. But I'm just like, I don't know. That was the one thing that really put me off when they first announced this, that wasn't there.
Yeah, just do it now. Everyone wants it. Let it happen.
They're just like, no, we're just taking this one step at a time. We're gonna see how many copies this one sells first, and then we'll think of a sequel, how to top it. And I'm like, whatever.
Which it's gonna sell like 1 trillion copies day one.
Yeah, I think EA is expecting like between 9 to 10 million copies sold, and I'm like, yeah, that's a lot, but you'll probably get it.
Dude, I'm gonna be in a tent outside GameStop, waiting for this bad boy to drop.
Like, get me on Star Wars.
But I was hoping also that, the Dark Troopers that you could use as the Imperials.
Mm-hmm.
In the first Battlefront, they had shotguns, and then in the second one, they had like, I don't know, these like electric guns or something. It's kind of like just a big old taser. And the shotguns were awesome because they had jetpacks, so you could just drop in anywhere and just blast people nonstop. I mean, it was just perfect. So the electric guns were kind of a letdown.
Yeah. Those might come back, because that's what they said. They said with Star Wars Battlefront, the new one, they said it would be like, not so much like in the old games where you just pick a character and that character has these guns. It's more like, making your own character. You customize them, you pick his loadout and all that. So I'm assuming all those weapon options will be there.
Well, that's kind of like what it was doing for the PSP version. I know for what was the first one that came out on PSP?
I think it was it Rogue?
There's like
it was like Rogue Squad or something like that.
I think so. I know Rogue Squad was a flying game for Nintendo.
Oh yeah, that was a Nintendo game. I forget what it was called. It was called like Star Wars Battlefront.
Elite Squad?
Yeah, I think Elite Squad. Something
I think it was
Squad.
Elite Squad. But yeah, that one was cool. And you could customize your characters. Like, you could choose if they had a jetpack or not and what kind of weapon they used. I think. I'm pretty sure. I don't want to be throwing out false information, but to the best of my knowledge, you could.
Yeah, we do a lot of guessing on this show. It's okay. But, Yeah, because it was kind of funny to think that the PSP had like 3 different Battlefield games for it, or no, not Battlefield, Battlefront games. So it's like, yeah, if you want Star Wars Battlefront, get a PSP. There's 3 different ones on there.
Psh, dude, that's why I got a PSP pretty much. It was for that and like I think it was Call of Duty Road to Victory or something.
Oh yeah.
That's all I really played on the PSP. Yeah, that and then like not Counter Strike, SOCOM.
Oh yeah, PSP for me it was like I always wanted PSP, but then when I saw Daxter, I was like, oh no, I gotta get this now. They got Daxter on it.
That was what sold you.
Yes, Daxter sold me. I'm like, it's a Jak and Daxter game. I need to play it.
Well, you see, and that's how they get you, because it's not like you're spending the... I can't remember how much a PSP game was, but like $40 on a game. Now you're spending like $300 because you got to buy the PSP just to play the game.
Yeah, so it's like... Yeah, but for me it was Daxter sold me. And then like it was funny because like when the PSP came out, they put out all these big exclusive games for it, like Daxter, and they had like this one Mega Man game that was exclusive to PSP and a couple other ones. And then like towards the end, Sony was like, you know what? Nah, they took a lot of those PSP games and like re-released them on PS2. Like they did a Ratchet Clank game. Size Matters was only on PSP. Then they re-released it for PS2. Secret Agent Clank was only on PSP, and then they re-released it for PS2. They had like a Silent Hill game that was only on PSP. They redid it on PS2. But like Daxter was the one they never re-released on PS2, oddly enough. And that I would assume would be the most popular one, or maybe second to like the Ratchet Clank game.
I don't know. Maybe they're gonna release it on PS4.
Oh yeah, your PS4 remaster of a PSP game. Well, it's not like it hasn't already happened. That Final Fantasy Type 0 was a PSP game in Japan, and they just re-released it as a PS4 game here in America. So it's like, well, here you go.
Yeah, anything's possible with Sony. They're always surprising us.
Yep, sometimes for the better, sometimes not so much.
Sometimes I look at the PlayStation Plus games that they drop, and I just know that it's not going to be my thing. And then sometimes I'm surprised by them. Like,
yeah,
I think it was it Contrast?
Yeah,
the one where you were the shadow girl and you could switch between. I loved that game, dude. Like, I sat there and I've beaten it like twice. I've gotten all the trophies. I don't even know why, because that's not the type of game I'd normally play. But there was something about that game that just really appealed to me, and I don't know. I think it was just a brilliant game, and I wish they'd come out with more games like that.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing with PlayStation Plus. Like, they put out games that you wouldn't normally play, but it's like, hey, it's free, sort of, so let me at least try it out.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and just download it no matter what.
And see. I mean, that's what happened this past month with Rocket League came out. Rocket League came out, and everybody was like, okay, they downloaded. Now people love Rocket League. So many people are playing Rocket League. It's crazy.
Dude, have you played Rocket League?
Yes.
Rocket League is so addicting.
Yeah, it's awesome.
I mean, and I don't even like soccer that much. I'm not a car kind of guy, but running around in a car and hitting soccer balls is awesome.
Find 2 things I don't care about to make something awesome.
Yeah. 2 negatives make a positive.
I guess so. It's multiplication. But speaking of PlayStation Plus, I can go over the new games for this month because they just went live yesterday, I think.
Oh, yeah, let's hear it.
Let's hear it. So here's what they got new on PlayStation Plus this month. On PS4, you get Lara Croft and the Temple of Osiris. That's the 4-player co-op top-down platforming puzzle thing or whatever.
That would be interesting.
Yeah. Also on PS4, we get Limbo, the side-scrolling black shadowy thing. Then for cross-buy, PS4, PS3, and PS Vita, they have Sound Shapes, which is awesome, but a very difficult game, at least once you get the challenge mode. Also for cross-buy, PS4, PS3, PS Vita, you get Stealth Inc. 2, a game of clones. And on PS3 and Vita, they got Castle Storm Complete Edition, and on PS3, they got God of War Ascension for free.
That's cool.
Yeah, God of War Ascension's cool. Yeah, but there's some good stuff here. Lara Croft Temple of Osiris, I guess I'll check it out just for the co-op, but I really didn't like the first one, what was it called? The Guardian of Light, I think is what it was called. I didn't really care for it. I mean, it's a solid game. It's just not how I want to play Tomb Raider. I I don't know, because like it's like a twin stick shooter too, like with the way you shoot your gun and all that. I don't know. I just don't like.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like the way you shoot your gun and then like you just navigate and you like do puzzles and stuff. And the first game was only 2-player co-op. This new one's like it's 4-player co-op, and like the story is so ridiculous too. Like I know the story can sometimes get crazy in Tomb Raider games, but like this one's really crazy. Like in Guardian Light, it's like, oh, Laura went down this temple and she met the god guardian of light, and now he's just following her around on a co-op adventure.
Yeah, I mean, I never really gave the games a fair shot, but I guess since it's free now, I might as well.
Yeah, and it's the same thing with this new one. Like, one player is Laura Croft, and the other 3 are like gods or something, and they're just following her around, going on this adventure, and I'm like, okay, sure, whatever means co-op. And so yeah, but yeah, like I said, it's free, it's co-op. I assume it has online co-op, so that will encourage people to download and play with their friends.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that goes. Then, of course, Limbo's on PS4. Limbo's awesome. It's been around forever. It's finally coming to PS4.
Is fantastic.
Yeah. Then they got Sound Shape. Sound Shape is really good. I like that one. I had it on Vita, PS3. Yeah, once you beat the main game, it's pretty easy, but then you got that challenge mode. Challenge mode is like really hard. You got to keep trying to get those challenges right. Musical platformer. Really fun game. And the Stealth Inc. 2 I'm excited for because I really love the first Stealth Inc. Had it on Vita. Even though I like the original name. The original name of the game is supposed to be called Stealth Bastard, but then they changed it because they were afraid it was going to offend people.
Oh, so because nowadays everyone has something to be offended by.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's just one of those things where, like, you know, they don't want somebody looking through the PlayStation Store and, like, it's on the storefront and it's like Stealth Bastard. And it's like, oh, okay, what's that about? So they changed it to Stealth Inc. And I'm like, I should have kept the first name.
I literally, right now as we're talking, am commanding my PlayStation 4 to download Limbo.
Download Limbo.
Because I forgot that it came out yesterday, and so I want to play it tonight, so this thing better hurry up.
So there you go. Look, the podcast has informed at least one person this week about what's up.
Yeah, it's done its job.
Yeah, there you go. But yeah, like I said, but really excited for Stealth Inc. I really like the first one. The Castle Storm I don't really know too much about. I think, is that one? I think Castle Storm's that one game that looks like a pop-up book when you play it. I think it's that one.
I don't know, but every time I hear about it, I just think of Defend Your Castle for the computer.
Yeah.
Every kid spent hours playing that game.
Mm-hmm. Well, also, too, when I looked at it, when I first read it, I thought it said Castle Crashers. I'm like, Castle Crashers? All right. But then I'm like, no, Castle Storm. And I'm like, oh well.
Oh, like, man.
It's weird. I remember Castle Crashers first came out on Xbox. It was like such a big deal, like when that game came out. And it took the longest time to come out to PS3, PS4, and then when it did finally come out, it was just kind of like, all right.
Yeah,
and
like the fad was over.
The fad was over, and then like there's no like real like hype to like make a follow up like Castle Crashers 2. You know, it's just kind of like, I'm like, damn it, we got this too late.
I mean, I guess when it comes to making a second one, I guess everything is just kind of. I mean, some things don't need a sequel in a way. A lot of movies don't need them, but they still go with them. I would like to see a sequel, but
yeah, it's weird. I mean, it's kind of like also too. That was another thing that came up today was I mean, Castle Crashers was kind of the same thing like with Minecraft. Minecraft was on Xbox for like the longest time, and then like within like a year later, they finally put it out on PlayStation platforms, PS3 and PS4, and Minecraft is still such a big deal that it was still a big deal when it hit PlayStation. Yeah, you know, people were downloading it, playing it, and all that, and like Minecraft. Absolutely, people were still obsessed with Minecraft, and like the developers said today, like they have no plans to do a Minecraft 2 because they don't need to.
Well, yeah, and I don't really know what you would add to a Minecraft 2. I mean, I guess you could add different kind of like terrains maybe, and just the way things look, and have your character be able to do more. Yeah. But for Minecraft, you know, you pretty much do whatever you want anyway.
Yeah, I mean, it's just one of those things where, like, you know, it's like the developers are probably sitting themselves thinking, okay, what can we do to make it different and not like what's something we can add that can't be done through an update? Like, we have to make a sequel, you know? And that's probably what their mindset is, and that's why they're not, you know, actively developing or working on a Minecraft 2. They're just like, well, we'll just stick with our main game. We're constantly putting out new content. We're always putting it on new platforms. Exactly. Pretty much every gaming device can play Minecraft right now, pretty much. Oddly enough, I think the only platform that doesn't have Minecraft is like the 3DS. Or I don't even think the Wii U has Minecraft. So I don't think any Nintendo platform has a Minecraft yet, which is
probably
weird.
not. I know before they had it for like, because you can get it on your iPhone, right?
Yeah,
you can get it off the App Store. Before they had that, when I was in high school, they had an app for your iPhone called Eden, and this was like the off-brand Sam's Choice Minecraft. And I used to sit there in history class and just like build stuff nonstop. And the cool thing was you never had to. It was kind of like on it was kind of like sandbox mode. Like you didn't have to mine materials to use them. You just had like unlimited resources. So I'd just sit there and build like the Great Wall of China across my like terrains and stuff, and just do whatever I wanted to.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, yeah. Well, for me, it's like I don't know. I never really got into Minecraft like at all because like when it first came out and it became a big thing, it was only on PC, and I didn't really play stuff on PC.
Yeah.
Then it came to Xbox. I'm like, well, I don't have an Xbox. Then it finally came to PlayStation, and I bought it. And then my brothers played the hell out of it when they got it on PlayStation because they're like, yeah, it's finally on PlayStation. And then so they played the hell out of it, and then I didn't really play it. Then I actually started playing it like a month ago with some friends, and they're really into it. And they just run around building stuff, digging for things. They know exactly what they're doing. I'm just sitting there like, what do I do? Do I kill that horse? What do I do? Like, no, you don't kill the horse. I'm like, oh, okay. So what do I do? You mine and craft. I'm like, how do you mine and craft?
You literally take the name and divide it by 2, and you just do equal parts of it. You mine and craft. You Minecraft it.
Yeah, and I'm just like, I don't know, I don't memorize the recipe, so I'm just sitting there constantly, pausing and looking up the recipe, and then like all my friends like memorize it. They're just sitting there already building stuff, and I'm like, slow down, man.
Oh, dude, don't feel bad. I sit here with my iPhone open and my laptop, just like looking up like, how do you do blah 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 on Minecraft? Oh, okay, cool, and I'll go ahead and do it.
That's cool. And then like I'll put down my controller. I'll be like, hey guys, I'm going to the bathroom. I go to the bathroom, come back, they have a whole house built. And I'm like, how did you build this house so fast? And they're like, I don't know. I'm like, okay. So I'm like,
when I first got Minecraft for the PlayStation 4, there was this moment where I was working on this huge mining operation, and it was taking a while. So I just had like my headphones on and I was listening to music, and my phone was just on shuffle. And I happen to have like the Lord of the Rings soundtrack on my phone. And so there was a point where I was like digging, and as soon as I busted through this block, this huge mine just like opened up, and you could see everything because there was lava. And as soon as that happened, the song from Lord of the Rings where they first enter into the mines of Moria and Gandalf lights up everything kicked on, and I got almost cried, dude. It was so magical. Like everything just lit up before me, and I was like, oh, we made it.
We made it, guys.
Sam.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I haven't had that moment in Minecraft, but that sounds pretty great.
A very magical moment in Minecraft for me.
Real Minecraft just clicks for you. You're like, yes.
And then I fell through a hole and fell to my death and lost everything I had. So
he didn't come back as Gandalf the White or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's Minecraft, and I just, like I said, I never really got too into it, and lost my friends or whatever. And like I said, my usual co-host Andrew, he never got into Minecraft either, because he says kind of the same thing where like I don't know, like when we play games, we kind of like objectives for the most part. Right. I mean, we could play open world games and be like, okay, we can go do these missions, go do this mission, or explore this. But like Minecraft, it's just so open where it's like, do whatever the hell you want.
Yeah.
So it just kind of makes you feel like, okay, what do we do? And at least with well, I don't know about the PC. Well, the PC version might have had achievements, but at least with PS4, it's like, oh, they got trophies. That gives me objectives. Now I have at least that to do. So
it was like some of the trophies were just like, oh, ride a pig for 30 seconds. So it's not even like it was really hard things to achieve. Yeah. Just kind of had to do them.
Yeah, open your menu for the first time. Get a trophy. All right. So,
Craft a wooden sword.
Yes. But I mean, yeah, I mean it was little things, but at least it gave you kind of something, to kind of guide you and be like, okay, it encouraged you to do that. Like open your menu, learn the crafting, build a sword and all that. So I mean, it gives you something, some kind of guidelines to be like, all right, here's what I need to do, and that kind of led to kind of what our concerns were with another game coming up, because we kind of feel like it's doing the same thing, is No Man's Sky.
Oh, the dreaded No Man's Sky.
Yeah, No Man's Sky. That's a game we've talked about sometimes before, and kind of like one of our concerns is kind of the same thing. It's like with Minecraft, like they like, what do you kind of do? Like, what is the kind of goal? And developers keep assuring us it's exploration. We want you to explore the galaxy and explore these new planets and all that. And for me, I think that's cool. But Andrew's normally kind of like, well, I don't know. You don't know if that's enough of a like real goal, especially considering it feels like infinite planets. So it's kind of like you're never going to really finish exploring.
Well, and I love exploration kind of games, and I'm fascinated by like the size of space and all that. So I'm gonna love this game no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like in his interviews, he keeps saying like, "Oh, you can be an explorer, you can be a bounty hunter, you can be a trader, you can do this, you can do that." But the game almost seems so big that I'm just never gonna run into another player.
Yeah.
Like, are there going to be central planets that are kind of meeting points where you can go to trade or battle? And I don't know if you've noticed, but I don't think we've seen what a character actually looks like yet.
No, because you don't.
Because you never see them.
Yeah, you don't see them. Like, you just don't run into other players. So you're like, what do I even look like? Do I look like Buzz Lightyear? Do I look like Commander Shepard? Who am I?
Am I going to be able to, like, change out my armor or anything? God, this game just needs to come out already.
So people can just explore and find out for themselves, like, what is No Man's Sky?
And they keep saying that everyone's trying to make it to the center of the galaxy. Well, what is the center of the galaxy? Like, what is it?
What is it? Is it God? What is it? Like,
and you keep saying that there's like trillions of planets. How am I ever going to get to the center of the galaxy unless I warp straight to it?
Like, if I get to the center first, can I press a button, like, kill everyone else's game? Like, what?
Yeah, you own the game.
Like, that'd be amazing. Like, okay, like, it's like a race. So, like, when when one player gets to the middle, he hits the reset button and everyone resets. So now it's like, oh, he won the first race. Now it becomes a new race. Everybody's just running to get to the middle again.
Oh, dude, just like a huge intergalactic race. Oh, man, that'd be so cool.
Everybody's just fighting for the center. I want it.
Yeah, I mean, every time they release gameplay footage and stuff, it annoys me even more, because I don't know how much longer I can wait for this game to come out. Because didn't they want it to come out in 2015?
Yeah, they're still saying it's coming out this year. They just won't give us an exact date, like a month or anything.
The only thing that still makes me believe that is I'm sure they'd want to get it out before Christmas so they could just sell a buttload.
Yeah, this is a big thing for Sony. Sony's been promoting the hell out of this on their platform and saying, hey, No Man's Sky is coming first to PlayStation. Coming in 2015, they said, we'll have a release date soon. They kept saying that soon, and we still haven't got it. So, hopefully it is coming out this year,
I don't know. I mean, it could, and I'd be happy with that, but it really wouldn't surprise me if it came out, like, first quarter of 2016.
Yeah, because, I mean, it's one of those things where, like, these guys are constantly working on this game, and it's just one of those things where, like, Sony doesn't want to rush them.
Yeah.
So it's like, hey, guys, it'd be really cool if you can get it out in 2015, but if you absolutely have to, you can put it out in 2016 if you want, but try 2015 if you can.
I really hope that they release at least, like, a screenshot of what characters will actually look like. Because that's bugging me.
Yeah, that's like the big mystery. Like, you have to find another player to even know what you look like.
Which I'm gonna get the game and play it for like 30 years, and I'll never see another person inside of the game.
It's like, where is everybody?
Yeah,
like but how
like I said,
how you know they're not just lying to us? Maybe there is no online. They're just telling us.
Yeah, it's all just like a single player mode.
There's no online.
They'll have computer players in it though, with I don't know. Blake 72 above his name, just so you think it's an online player, but it's not. It's just a computer person.
Some randomly generated name.
Yeah.
Well, that's like what. I think Rocket League does that when you play with AI cars. It just randomly generates a name.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, here you go. Here's Bill or something, and I'm like, oh, okay.
Hey, Bill.
Hey, Bill. Bill scored a goal. Damn it.
Yeah, No Man's Sky. It's going to be just like Battlefront. It's going to sell a butt ton right away.
Yeah. So, yeah. So you're obviously really excited for Star Wars Battlefront and No Man's Sky this year.
Oh, dude. That and Uncharted are like my 3 games that I'm going to go nuts for.
Yeah, Uncharted. Well, Uncharted will be sometime in 2016, early 2016. But
I'm sure y'all talked about this when y'all had y'all's E3 episodes.
mm-hmm.
And I'm sure you were watching the Sony press conference.
Yep.
I almost lost it whenever the Uncharted demo, I guess, froze up. And he was just standing there for like 10 minutes, and then all of a sudden it faded to black and just restarted.
Yeah,
I was like, what is going on?
Yeah, that was funny. Well, I read an interview that kind of explained what happened. What happened was apparently they have 2 PS4s on the floor, both running the demo, so that way if one messes up, they can hurry and switch to the other one.
Right.
And what happened was the first one they had, the controller died or something. And it wasn't connecting, so they're like freaking out, so they hurried and switched to the second PS4, but the second PS4 wasn't obviously at the same point, so they had to start it from the beginning. So it was just really weird, like, like, oh, the controller died, and it's like, what do we do? And I mean, something like that isn't too bad because that like assures you that this is a real like playing demo and not just some like rendered CG thing.
That's true.
Because I mean, there's differences between that was a human error and a game error. That in that sense was a human error. Like they didn't have the controller charged or something and it died, and they had to hurry switch to another one. And so Drake wasn't moving. Example of a game error was like 2 years ago when Ubisoft was trying to show off Assassin's Creed 4 running on PS4, and the game itself kept freezing up.
Yeah.
And that was really bad because you're showing people, hey, our game doesn't work. Thankfully,
we're showing you this preview and it doesn't even matter.
Yeah, this game is freezing up, so like crap. But luckily, when the game actually came out, it didn't do that, so they fixed it. But the point is, you're in prime time. That shouldn't happen.
Right.
And then, like when they first showed the Uncharted 4 demo way back at their PlayStation event, they had another thing. It was more human error, but the guy was climbing on the rocks and he accidentally pressed circle and dropped and died. So it's like, oh, he died in the demo. So there you go. It's a real guy playing.
They just like to prove the authenticity of the actual game, which actually is a really good business plan if you think about it.
Mm-hmm.
There was one thing I wanted to bring up, and do you remember that game Witness that's supposed to be coming out for PlayStation 4?
Yeah, it's
that ever happening?
Yeah, it's really weird. Witness was like one of the very first games announced for PS4, and it's just never have come out. Like it's in limbo basically. Like no one knows what's going on with that game.
And I'm looking around right now on the internet, and they had like versions of it for the 360 and PlayStation 3, but they weren't like released or something. Like they were originally going to come out for that generation, but then they were canceled, and so they started making it for the PS4. But it looks like they'll probably just cancel that and then, I don't know, move on to the PS5.
Something. I don't know. It just... this game is just weird because it's just... It came out, people talked about it, it just disappeared, and it's just like, where is it? Because there was another game that was kind of announced around the same time called Everyone's Gone to the Rapture.
Yeah.
And that game's coming out in like 2 weeks. So you see, that game is coming out, but where's the Witness?
And I was excited about The Witness because I kind of a sucker for like puzzle games, and it just looks like a cool game that you could kind of explore. And the graphics are kind of different. It's more the cartoony island, but it just looked like a pretty game that I wanted to play, but it's never coming out.
It's never coming out. It's coming out whenever. It's like it'll come with the Last Guardian bundled in.
Yeah, probably.
Well, even though we assume that the Last Guardian's coming out next year, hopefully.
Yeah,
I don't think Sony would give a 2016 date if they weren't sure about it.
Yeah, because I mean that's a pretty if you know how, like, where it is in development, you can kind of guess, like, oh, it's going to be next year, or...
Yeah, but that game went silent for so long that when Sony showed off Last Guardian again and said, hey, it's coming 2016, they have to mean it. Like, you can't, after all this time, you can't do that again. You know, say, hey, it's coming 2016. You know, 2016 comes around and it's not out. You know, you have to put it out next year.
Right. That was the first thing they showed off at the E3 conference this year, huh?
Yep, they had to
get
that.
Was the first game.
Yep, they had to get out of the way and be like, here's Last Guardian. You guys have been asking for it for years. Here it is, because it's coming out next year. We promise.
And speaking of, I'm sure y'all touched on this, but I am ecstatic about the thought of a remastered Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah. Well, it's not a remaster, it's a full remake.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Just like because as a kid, that's what me and my brother grew up on, just playing Final Fantasy for the PS1. So.
Yeah. And that game is, that game's a ways off. They haven't really even started.
Well, they did this exact same thing for the PS3. They showed like a version of the opening sequence for the PS3. They didn't say it was going to come out on PS3, but they just showed what it would look like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, here's hypothetically what it would look like, you know. In the tech demo, I remember that now. I forgot about that. And now it's, you know, a whole generation later, and it's like, yeah, we're finally doing it. We're completely remaking Final Fantasy VII, so... but yeah, this game's a way off because basically Square Enix development is this. They're working on Final Fantasy 15 right now. When that's done, they've got to start finishing up Kingdom Hearts 3. And then when that's finished, then they're going to start really working on Final Fantasy 7.
Right.
So yeah, it's really weird. That's a really daunting statement to think, hey, you're not getting Final Fantasy 7 until after Kingdom Hearts 3. Kingdom Hearts 3 has been such... far out for everyone.
Yeah.
That is really weird to think, oh crap, I'm not getting Final Fantasy 7 until after Kingdom Hearts 3. Kingdom Hearts 3 is still a ways off.
Are they going to have Star Wars characters in Kingdom Hearts 3?
They haven't confirmed anything.
I mean, it's Disney now.
It's Disney now.
It has to be.
It's Disney now, but I don't know. I just don't know if that's necessary for Kingdom Hearts.
I want to see what the Star Wars characters would look like.
Yeah, in Kingdom Hearts. I mean, the coolest thing that would come out of that is obviously a lightsaber keyblade.
Oh, for sure. I wouldn't be surprised if they threw that in there, even if they didn't throw in Star Wars characters or anything.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm hoping happens. I really don't think Kingdom Hearts 3 needs a full-on Star Wars level, but having a few Star Wars like things in there just to kind of acknowledge it, like, you know, a lightsaber, keyblade, or just like little things like, you know, when you're in the ship, like, oh, there's a Death Star in the background.
Yeah.
Like little things like that. I don't think they need a full-on Star Wars level because
I'm sure like Daffy Duck will have like stormtrooper armor at some point and just like little random tidbits thrown in there.
Yeah, because I mean, here's the thing with Star Wars. Like most people kind of know that Disney owns them now, but they're not really treated as a Disney property because you don't see like a Disney logo on it. You know, like for a new movie. And I think a lot of people still don't quite get it that they're owned by Disney now. So, like, if Star Wars did show up in Kingdom Hearts 3, it would be weird. Like, whoa, Star Wars is Disney? Well, like now it is, you know?
Well, it's kind of like how people always forget that ESPN is a Disney company.
Yeah, ESPN's owned by Disney. So it's like, oh, we're going to have football players in Kingdom Hearts 3.
Peyton Manning, everyone in there.
Yeah, or at least they're sports announcers. Just commentating over Sora beating up the Heartless.
Yeah, you can have a game mode where you just get a commentator the whole time.
Yeah, ESPN presents Kingdom Hearts 3. Here's Sora taking on the Heartless, and he's going all the way, smacking the Heartless around.
He's at the 20, the 10, touchdown!
Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah, but like I said, it's just one of those things where I just don't think people associate it enough with Disney yet that it would feel kind of out of place to have it in there right now. Where I think when people play Kingdom Hearts, they want the classic Disney movies that they know are Disney, rather than just seeing Star Wars.
And I think other than Disney making the movies and of course them having like the characters and the rides at their theme parks, I think that's the extent of it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think we're going to see too much of, like, a mesh between the old school Disney and Star Wars.
Well, right now, the only thing we're getting with that is Disney Infinity 3.0 is Star Wars themed.
That's true. I completely forgot about that.
Yeah, they're doing that this year, and that's going to have Star Wars characters, and then obviously you can combine them with the Disney characters.
Right.
But I think Disney Infinity is a little bit different because that is like a here and now thing. Like, this is something we're doing now, and Star Wars Episode 7 is coming out in December, so we need to capitalize on that now. You know, like do the Star Wars thing and, you know, sell it with Disney. Where Kingdom Hearts 3 is still probably, you know, maybe a year or two out. So it's one of those things where, like, by then, yeah, there'll still be Star Wars movies being made, but it's not like, you know, it's not like a prominent thing where we need to promote it now, like with the new, like this new Star Wars Episode 7 is like the kickoff of this new generation of Star Wars and new Star Wars movies and stuff.
Man, I would give anything to be a part of the cast or crew for a future Star Wars film.
Yeah, because they're making a bunch of them, so they just need to just bring.
Which is kind of cool, like how they're gonna have the kind of spin-off movies. Like I think they're having a Rogue Squadron movie, and then like a Han Solo movie. I don't know. It's going to be cool how they approach it.
The Han Solo movie.
The Solo movie.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about all these spin-offs. Because I don't know. I'm just not sure about Disney's plan of like, oh, we want to put out a new Star Wars movie every year. And I'm like, I don't know if that's going to be overkill, you know, getting a Star Wars every year.
It's kind of like how Call of Duty comes out every year, and I don't want to diss Call of Duty, but I kind of got sick of it after like Modern Warfare 2.
Yeah, because I mean, well, Call of Duty is different. That's you playing the game, but like when it comes to a movie, I mean, it's a little different because obviously, you know, these spin-offs will tackle different aspects of the universe, so they can feel different each year. But it's just kind of deflates the like hype of getting a new Star Wars movie.
Right, that's what I'm saying, and kind of like what you touched on earlier. It's going to be so mainstream now, like, oh, well, and I can't wait to see the next movie. Oh, I only have to wait 365 days.
Yeah.
Like, it's just going to become the norm, which is kind of weird because we haven't had a Star Wars movie since 2005.
Yeah, because that's the thing. Like, before it was always you get a trilogy once in a generation.
Yeah.
You know, we got the original trilogy, and then we got the prequel trilogy, and then Disney was like, okay, now it's been 10 years. Here's, you know, we're starting a new trilogy. And that sounded cool, but then they're like, then at first they just said they're doing a new trilogy. Then they're like, well, no, we're also going to do spin-off films, and they're going to be in between the episodes, and we're going to try to have one every year. And I'm like, I don't know. You know, it just kind of feels like a little bit overkill. Because like, that's the thing I'm afraid of. Like, now Disney is, like, dropping the number system from Star Wars.
Yeah,
because
that's true.
Star Wars, the new one, is just called Star Wars The Force Awakens. Like, it's not really called Episode 7. So that's kind of weird. Even though I've read reports that when you go watch the movie, the little scrolling bit at the beginning will still say Episode 7, just to let you know, hey, this is the 7th one story-wise.
Yeah.
But it's not promoted as Episode 7. And then Disney just announced today they're re-releasing the first 6 on individual Steelbook Blu-rays in November.
Oh, dude, I just got the 6 on Blu-ray, so as soon as I get something, the next thing comes out.
Well, I mean, this isn't anything different. It's just an option to get them individually. But the funny thing I noticed is that they're individual, but they don't have the numbers on them. Like, it just says Star Wars, The Phantom Menace, it's just Star Wars, Attack the Clones. Like, it doesn't say Episode 1, Episode 2.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I find that really odd because, you know, it just kind of takes away that whole chronological number thing. I guess it's because, you know, Disney plans all these spin-off films, and they're not going to have numbers, so we're just going to take the numbers off. And I'm like, okay, well, how are people going to know which ones are, like, the main films, though?
Yeah.
Like, you have the numbers in them.
Well, people who are completely oblivious are going to be like, wow, how come this first one's, like, CGI is pretty good, and then the 6th one kind of sucks?
Oh, yeah, those little kids are going to be like, well, I don't get it. Like... It's like, no, well, kids, these old ones came out first, then the prequels were later, and then they got these new ones that are still after the old ones. What? Just shut up and watch it.
And speaking of the prequels, I know everyone bags on the Phantom Menace for whatever reason they'll have, but I just want to say that Phantom Menace brought us one of the best movie villains of all time. Darth Maul was legit.
Yeah, I mean, they put his face on the steelbook for Episode 1.
Like, he's the best Sith Lord, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Not power-wise, but, like, as cool. Yeah. He was cool, man.
Because I think there was, at one point, a Darth Maul video game in development, but I think that got canceled.
I do remember something about that. It was around the same time that Star Wars Bounty Hunter came out, when they had the Jango Fett game. But yeah, I guess they just dropped on that one.
Just dropped it, man. Dropped the ball. It's like Darth Maul.
Dropped
no.
the ball, man.
So
he was always fun to use in a Battlefront.
Yeah. Let's try to bring it back at some point. Like, I don't know if they would revive the game because I mean EA. Cause that's another thing too is like, because not only are we getting the new Star Wars movie that's supposed to kick off these new generation of movies, but we're also getting Star Wars Battlefront, the game that's supposed to kick off EA's new line of like new Star Wars games.
Yeah.
And like all their developers are supposedly working on a new Star Wars game. Like DICE is doing Battlefront. Visceral, the guys who did Dead Space, are working on a third-person action Star Wars game.
Is that going to be a revise of or a return of Star Wars 1313, which we were supposed to get?
Yeah. See, everything they've said so far, like they haven't really said much of anything about their new Star Wars game. All they said is that it's a third-person action Star Wars game, and they're getting like one of the writers and directors of Uncharted is working on it. So it sounds a lot like Star Wars 1313.
This can be legit.
Yeah, so I mean, I think it will probably have elements of Star Wars 1313. I don't think it'll be like the full revival of that game, but I think it'll definitely have elements of like what they were going for as far as like gameplay mechanics.
It looked interesting too because Star Wars 1313, we kind of got a glimpse into like the underworld of Star Wars. The kind of grittier and the darker side.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think this game will probably end up being some form of that game. Once it finally comes out. But that's the only two we know are in development is Battlefront and this Visceral third-person game. But they said all their like little developers are working on some kind of Star Wars game. Like EA owns BioWare, so apparently BioWare is working on a Star Wars game. But here's the problem with that. I don't know what that means for BioWare because BioWare we know is working on an expansion pack to the Knights of the Old Republic MMO.
Right.
So that probably counts as their Star Wars game,
Yeah, I would say that's it.
Because a lot of people want to jump the gun and say, oh, it's BioWare, they got to be working on Knights of the Old Republic 3 for consoles, right? And it's like, well, they got that MMO on PC, so that probably counts as their Star Wars contribution,
And what were you going to say?
Yeah, because, I mean... Because that's one of the few games I really wish I got to play was Knights of the Old Republic because it was weird. It was only on PC and Xbox, and I didn't have either, so I never really got into those. But I really want to because I love BioWare. Their recent stuff like Dragon Age and Mass Effect, and just the idea of them making a Star Wars game is awesome. So,
I mean, we could see it. Anything's possible at this point. Star Wars.
Yeah, I mean, I just really don't see BioWare not making a console Star Wars game, It's just, after Episode 7 comes out, like Star Wars fever is going to hit really hard. So like people are going to really want that, like BioWare to make a console Star Wars RPG. So that's got to be in their plans somewhere. I mean, we already know BioWare is still working on expansion pack to the MMO. They're working on Mass Effect 4. Well, now it's called Andromeda. And then they got this new IP they're working on. So it's kind of like, well, is Star Wars in there somewhere?
I hope so.
And then they're still working on Dragon Age DLC, and then it's one of those things too where like, I don't know if BioWare is going to want to do a Star Wars one right away because they just finished up. Once they finished up that Mass Effect, they're going to be like, well, we just did a space RPG. They might not feel up to do it again. I mean, even though Star Wars is going to be different, but still, it's like it's still in space.
Right.
So I don't know.
I kind of meant to bring this up earlier when we were talking about Battlefront, but do you think that once the movies come out, they're going to release a DLC with like whatever is up to date with those movies, kind of like whatever planets they go to or how the Empire looks? And
yeah, well, they've already said that like for Star Wars Battlefront, they said if you pre-order the game comes out in November, and they said when you buy the game in November, in December they're putting out a free map pack that is based off a planet from Star Wars Episode 7.
Okay.
So there is going to be some Episode 7 stuff right there, like right away. Like in December, you're going to get there's going to be a free map pack that's based on the Episode 7 map.
I'm not going to lie though, I'm going to miss a lot of the maps from the older ones, and I'm going to miss being able to play as a clone trooper.
Yeah, that was another thing. It's like no Clone Wars era stuff,
Which
those Clone Troopers were awesome.
Yeah, and the second Battlefront, it gave you more of a feel of like what the Clone Wars were actually like, because we got to see how they started and we got to see how they ended.
Mm-hmm.
But like playing the campaign where you were a member of, what was it, like the 501st or whatever it was in Star Wars, but you got to play as a clone trooper and then you developed into like the stormtroopers.
Yeah. And you see, if they ever did a at least some kind of story based in like the new era of like episode 7, they can now go into the span of like, because starting with episode 7 they're like, oh well, stormtroopers aren't clones anymore, you know,
right?
Like we're starting to see like regular people volunteer to be stormtroopers. So like that's a whole new like story aspect they can do in a game or something, to be like, this is a regular guy who wants to join the stormtroopers, you know, I want to be a stormtrooper, and go through training and all that.
Well, yeah, we got a it looks like Tracy Morgan. I can't remember the guy's name, but he's in a Star Wars. A stormtrooper uniform.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a lot of people, like when that trailer first came, a lot of people thought, "Oh, it's just him in disguise, right, or something."
Right.
And then like, no, I mean, yeah, in the old movies, it was assumed that they were all clones because we never saw a stormtrooper without their helmet, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And if you like watch, I haven't watched it, but the new one, Star Wars Rebels, that cartoon.
Oh yeah.
I haven't checked it out yet, but I was reading about how like in that cartoon they explain, because that cartoon takes place around the time of episode 4, or right before episode 4, and they kind of say in that one that the clones are kind of like dying out, like their lifespans are coming to an end, and the facilities are no longer active. So now the Empire actually needs to hire regular volunteers.
Well,
so,
and
like,
also, if you kind of think about it, I always assumed that the stormtroopers weren't clones anymore, because in episode 2 and 3, or specifically episode 2, they talk about how clones age at a much faster rate.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you think about it, by the time episodes 4, 5, and 6 came around, those clones would be like 100 years old or dead. So,
yeah.
And then if they were still using clones, wouldn't the like Imperial officers who we do see their faces, wouldn't they just be clones? So obviously they must have done some sort of recruiting into just like getting different people. And
yeah, so during the events of episode 4, it was kind of probably a mix at that point. Like half of those troopers were clones and half were volunteers. But because of the story and the technology at the time, they were like, no, we're just not going to show anybody without a helmet, because we don't want to have to be, you know, showing like half of these people are clones and they're all the same person.
Right.
These half. So, but now, by the time the era episode 7 comes around, it's like there's no more clones. These are all pretty much just volunteers working in the Empire or whatever.
It would be cool.
So yeah, but yeah, that'd be a cool like story element to kind of put in, maybe since Battlefront has no story, but maybe when they do like a Battlefront 2 or something, and they want to do a single player story, have that kind of aspect in there. Because by the time they get around to Battlefront 2, you know, episode 7 will already be out. Episode 8 will probably already be out by then. So a lot of the new era lore is established.
Or even if episode 8's not out, they'll have one of those like spin-off movies already out.
Yeah, so more of that lore of the new era is going to be there, and the foundation is going to be there to where EA can make not EA, but DICE can make a story around it and be like, okay, these are new stormtroopers, a new generation dealing with this kind of like post Return of the Jedi stuff.
Yeah, post-galactic war.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be good.
A lot of good stuff there. But, oh boy, we're already at the 58-minute mark.
There we go. Time flies, man.
Yeah, time flies. So, I guess it's time to wrap up. Do our wrap up. So, I didn't say what episode this is. I think we're on episode 27?
I think so. I checked your Facebook the other day. I think the last one that was out was 26.
Yeah, because we got the episode wrong the other day. We did an episode where we said it was like 24, but actually it was like 23 or something.
I heard the intro, and you were like, "Oh, last week we kind of messed up with the numbering system."
Yeah, we got our numbers wrong. I think this is episode 27. But yeah, this has been the PSBS, the PlayStation Bull Session Podcast, episode 27. I'm your host, Cody, PSN Body Boys, and my guest host this week is
Patrick. My PSN is Patron 4000, Pattron 4000.
Cool. I don't know, is there anything else you want to kind of like say, like, hey, I got this Twitter, you can check out this Facebook, you can check out, just like, you know, if you want
to. Yeah, I don't use Twitter that much, but if you want to follow me, my Twitter handle is @P21. That's PSWINNEY1. And if you want to add me on Facebook, it's Patrick Swinney. And Cody, thanks for having me on. It's been a pleasure. It's been a good time talking some video games with you, man.
Well, I'm glad you. Thank you for volunteering. You know, we needed a substitute this week.
Absolutely.
You took up the mantle on that. With that, this has been the PSBS episode 27, and hopefully we'll see you guys next week. And click.